information.
I can help find out who to pressure. I'll deal with that.
That would be very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, that's why we have the group. Thank you, Jim.
Jim's a nice guy. I saw Rudy came on and left. So I don't know where he went.
He said he's coming. I just called both of them.
I'm breaking live. You're away this Shabbos, right, Jim?
No, I think I'll be here. If I'm away, I'll try to let people know, but I have another hearing on Friday and I got 3 trials next week. So I just don't know how I can do it.
So we'll see you in Shul, I hope.
Yeah, I'll be fine by then.
There's one.
I didn't want to infect anybody.
Understand.
I probably could have been there, but
Yeah.
not I mean, I just have a cold.
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter bought me a gift today.
Very nice.
Hi.
Very
We
nice.
couldn't finish reading.
Very nice.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Hugely great, Rabbi. Hugely great.
Yes, it doesn't say huge, but close. All the other rabbis are losers.
You have to bring that to the Shulhim conference.
Okay. Where's Rudy? So I think Rudy heard this already. And I will start. So 2 friends, Yaakov and Aaron.
Wait, you gotta give your spiel.
I'm sitting here without my book. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
We'll get it after this, Abigail.
After this,
Center of the
Don't miss.
universe. Center of the universe.
I'll wait.
Just don't miss.
okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yaakov and Aaron are very passionate. They go around in shul. They tell all their friends, try to convince them about all the how the election was rigged and a fraud and so on. None of their friends want to listen. So they go to attend a rally, Stop the Steal, and they're all fired up. And driving home, unfortunately, they get into a car accident, and they both find themselves in heaven, standing before the heavenly court. Bezdin Shalmila. Hashem there is how do you say it? Is judging.
Presiding.
Aaron turns to Yaakov and says, "Hey, this is it." They said, "At least we can confirm from Hashem that the election was really a fraud." So Hashem opens the proceedings, and first Aaron says, "Excuse me," he says, "Abishter," he said, "Can I ask one little question?" Hashem says, "Yeah, we have all the time in the world. Go ahead." So Aaron says, "Can you please confirm that Trump's been telling the truth, that the election was a fraud, the Democrats cheated, and Trump really won the election?" Hashem looks down at him with a look and says, "Aaron, don't be stupid. The whole thing was lies." Aaron turns to Yaakov and says, "Oh my gosh," he says, "the conspiracy goes even higher than we thought."
Oh.
Where's Rudy? There's Rudy.
I think I sent it to him already. Okay.
All right.
Now he comes on.
He was waiting for me to finish. All right.
You missed it.
I heard it.
You
He heard it.
I believe it.
You're welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard. This class for the second time around. And this time we're doing it the right way. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe. I think the yard site is next Sunday.
Sunday.
Dollar spot.
Dallas spot. It's going to be 3 years.
4 years.
4 years. Margaret Vogel of Blessed. Apples from the Orchard contains selection of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Okay, guys, today is the bomb. This is all about, we're going to have a lot of gematria today, so those people who like will really appreciate. We are also going to get into as far as the main point. I think the main point gets covered over. I'm going to ask you for your help so that we can find the a certain point which doesn't seem to be so clearly explained, and also today we're going to explain one of the ideas in Kabbalah that comes up for the first time. I noticed an explanation here, which I'm really glad, and that is the Shin Ayin Nahorin. That's 370 bright lights. Nahorin is like or in Hebrew and Aramaic, Nahorin, which means light, brilliant lights. So here we go. One moment. After I sent it today, if anyone looked at the notes already, after I sent it, that's good because I added some things.
Then resend it.
If you want, I can resend it after. I'd be
Yeah.
happy to. I can resend it now.
Whatever. If you made changes,
Okay, Alan, is this big enough for this?
I think so.
And I might make more changes as we go through. Okay, this chapter has a lot of connections that are expressed through gematria. It's important to remember that we don't make connections because of gematria. Okay, this number equals 831. The other thing also equals 831. Okay, they must be connected. Rather, the fact that gematria matches indicates that the concepts are related independently of gematria. So these things are connected. After they're connected, we can find it through gematria. We can find that they're related through some type of gematria. Okay, but we do not build this connection because of gematria. Some things we have connected, and the gematria does not match up at all. So it's very, very important to keep that in mind. The gematria is only a support or a backup for relationships between concepts.
I'm glad you said that.
Hmm?
I'm glad you
Yes.
said that, Rabbi, because it seems like they're going on gematria when they present things.
Correct. So this is
Much.
important to realize anytime. So, in fact, not only this, but any good math teacher, is going to come up and say, "Aha, we have a gematria over here, and a gematria over here, there, and therefore the things must be related." And it could be that either is not supported by Torah or it runs counter to the Torah.
Hmm.
Okay, let's say someone finds a gematria of something that is absolutely against the Torah, clearly against the Torah, maybe a concept from another religion, or something that is a clear violation of the Torah, and then they find that it has the same gematria as the word Torah or mitzvah or something like that. They say, "Aha, see, that means that the Torah supports this idea." So whenever we make connections to gematria, the gematria only bears out the relationship, but it does not it is not a proof that it's related or related in the way that we want to think. Yes, the reason I mentioned it, Abigail, is because gematria rubs many people the wrong way. I find that either you love gematria or you hate gematria. It's like really is no ambivalence.
Yeah.
And this is why. So, anyways, it's very, very important to point out it's a foundational idea in gematria. Okay, so here we have. Any questions so far or comments? Okay. Avraham was the epitome of chesed. We all know that. Did I spell epitome right? Okay.
It
Yeah.
didn't,
Yes.
if it's not underlined in red, it's correct.
Not
Well,
necessarily.
maybe it's a different word. Okay.
Not necessarily, Alan.
Okay.
Maybe it's not epitome. Maybe it's like an epitome. Epitome. Maybe that's like,
Epitome.
yeah. And you know,
Epitome.
like the thing on the esrog.
Yeah, and the epitome.
Epitome.
Okay. There are 5 states of chesed to enter Ze'er Anpin. So we know that there are 5 states of chesed, 5 states of gevura, and these usually are within Ze'er Anpin. It's chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, and hod. The chesed of chesed, the chesed within gevura, the chesed within tiferes, the chesed within hod, and chesed within netzach and within hod usually form the 5 states of chesed. And likewise, whenever you come across the 5 states of gevura, it's the gevura within Ze'er Anpin, the gevura within chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, and hod. Usually, that's how it is. Here, we are going to speak about 5 states of chesed that enter Ze'er Anpin. Ze'er Anpin, of course, meaning the first 6 attributes, the first 6 sefirot of the emotions: chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, hod, and Yesod, the male sefirot of Ze'er Anpin, the male sefirot of the emotions. Ze'er Anpin corresponds to the name of Hashem that equals 45 in expanded spelling. Okay, so we know about expanded spelling called milui. Here, most places they just call it spelling out. Chaim doesn't go for that. So we write the name of the letter Yud. We write the name of the letter Hey, and we write the name of the letter Vav and Hey, and so on. And so there are different ways to spell these letters. And as I've mentioned before, I don't think anyone was more correct than another. We find, usually you can find any one of them when we're reading, when the name of the letters are written. So this is 45. This is the lowest number. We go 72 Chachma, 63 Bina, 45 is Ze'er Anpin, and then 52 is Nukva or Malchus, is the 10th Sphira. So 45 corresponds to this. The 5 states of Chesed match 5 names of Havaya. Says 26 times 5 equals 130. You with me so far? Usually, yes. Okay. Usually we look at the expanded spelling of Havaya. We rarely take the 26, but here we take 26. These 5 names Havaya join with Ze'er Anpin and the 45 in the name of Hashem. 45 and 130 is 175, the age of Avraham. So here's where we get the age of Avraham. Did we mention before? Yes, Avraham was the epitome of Chesed. Avraham was the personification of Chesed. Avraham was the personification of Chesed in this world like no one else. Okay, so we'll start with this. Alan, we're on page 120, chapter 6 of Chayei.
Grandfather Abraham. And these are the days of the years of the life of Abraham that he lived, 175 years. Abraham embodied the 5 states of Chesed of Ima that spread through Ze'er Anpin, who expresses the name Havaya spelled out with the letter Aleph, whose numerical value is 45. The 4 major partsufim of Atzilus, Abba, Ima, Ze'er Anpin, and Nukva, express the 4 spellings out of the name Havaya, whose numerical values are 72, 63, 45, and 52, respectively.
Go ahead.
The 5 states of Chesed are expressed by 5 names Havaya, giving a numerical value of 130. 5 times 26 is 130.
Okay, one more.
When these names Havaya whose numerical value is 130, are joined with and spread through Ze'er Anpin, who expresses the name Havaya spelled out to equal 45. The sum is 175, the number of years in Abraham's life.
Okay, so if you put aside the numbers for a moment, what we're saying here is that Abraham's life, 175, was manifest the Havaya of the 5 states of Chesed for 130 plus the Havaya of Ze'er Anpin, which is 45. Abraham manifests that. He was the personification of that. And that's why he lived 175 years. Next line says the origin of these 175 years in particular is as follows. We are going to go now to other explanations with other numbers. I didn't see the connection to 175. So as we go through, it could be I overlooked it, could be it wasn't mentioned, has to be inferred, don't know. So I'd like to ask if you guys keep your eyes open to see if you notice what anything more on 175 or the significance of the number 175. Okay. So now we know that Keser has 2 parts. Keser is the source for Atzilus. Just as a crown sits on top of the head and on top of the body, but it's not part of the body. So Keser is a little beyond Atzilus. Keser has 2 parts. The upper part is called Atik Yomen. The upper part is called Atik Yomen, and that is detached from the world, doesn't have a connection. The lower part is called Arich Anpin. So we learn a lot about Ze'er Anpin. Ze'er Anpin means minor face or small face. Arich Anpin means large face or major face. Only the lower part of Keser is affiliated with creation, not the higher part. There are 370. By the way, I am getting some feedback it's probably from my voice that's going back into a speaker. See, so it might help if you mute and then unmute when you want to say something. So only the lower part of Keser is affiliated with creation. There are 370 bright lights that shine from Arich Anpin, called Shin Ayin Nahorin. Shin Ayin is the letters that equal 370. Nahorin are bright lights. This is a Kabbalistic concept that you come across now and then. Here is perhaps the best explanation that I found to explain the 370 bright lights. The Shin Ayin Nahorin. These 370 bright lights reach Yesod of Ze'er Anpin. Yesod corresponds to Yosef, who is the grandson of Abraham, great-grandson of Abraham.
Oh, yeah.
It is from these 370 lights that Yosef was good-looking and good form. These 370 lights are the source of the 5 states of Chesed. Let me explain if that's not so clear. That Abraham is the great-grandfather of Yosef. Abraham is the personification of the 5 states of Chesed and stuff. Of the five states of Chesed and we said 175. This Chesed of which that corresponds to Avram, is from Arich Anpin, the lower part of Kesser. And from lower part of Kesser shines 370 bright lights. So apparently these 370 bright lights are affiliated with Avraham, or the manifest through Avraham, and they have such an impact that when it reaches his great-grandson Yosef, who is Yesod, that's at the bottom of Zeir Anpin, that it causes that even Yosef, even this much extended from Arich Anpin, from Abraham, that Yosef, the Torah refers to him as Yefei Toar Vifei Mar'eh. Basically, those are two ways of saying good looking and handsome. So that's why we have this little thing here of connecting it to Yesod and connecting it to Yosef. It is not a, this is all that's written about Yosef and the Yesod and the extension of the 370 lights. We're going to dwell more on the 370 lights. Any questions or comments?
Do they say that this was a good-looking family?
Yes. Yes, Yosef, no joke. Yosef's mother was Rachel. And when Yaakov met Rachel at the well, and then he wanted after he met her at the well, and his future father-in-law said, "How do you want to be paid for your services?" He said, the Torah inserts that Lavan had two daughters. The Leah had weak or tender eyes, and Rachel was Yefas Toar Vifas Mar'eh. She was good looking and good looking, or however you want to say it, good looking and good form. The same two words that are used on her son Yosef, except for hers, of course, it's in the grammatical way it's done is in the feminine form, and for him it's in the masculine form. But independent of that, it is the same thing. Okay. Interestingly,
So I would say to that, but she's not in the line, but she is, because she's related to Avraham, isn't she? So she comes from,
Kabbalistically, he received it from his father's line.
yeah.
Physically, very possible that he received it from his mother's line. We also have Medrash that says that he looked very similar to his father Yaakov. Yaakov is said to have a very, very good appearance, very handsome.
And we know Isaac looked like Avraham.
Mm-hmm.
Parsha tells us that.
Did you ask a question? I didn't hear. You're asking a question or making a statement?
I was just making a statement.
Okay, yes, that's correct. The other one who gets this description, or at least half of it, were good looking, handsome, pretty, whatever you call it. Anyone remember? Jim, you have to unmute.
Sarah gets a description of beautiful. Let me finish. And she is in the same line as Abraham, being the daughter of being a niece, so to speak. So she's in the same line and known as beauty. Her beauty was known.
Excellent. I didn't think of that one. I'm glad I asked.
Was David? I know they said he was ruddy, but did they say that he was good looking?
I don't remember, and I just learned it within the last week or two. The other one that's written about are the cows in Paro's dream. The 7 healthy cows are described as Yifos Mareh. They were pretty cows, beautiful cows. You can translate as you like. Rashi says that the meaning of that is that that during the time of famine, during the time of abundance, that people will have whatever they want, so no one will be jealous of the other person. The other person has a Bentley, you don't care. You didn't want a Bentley. You got your Maserati. If you wanted to have a Bentley, you could have one too. So the people don't look with a bad eye on each other. And that's the meaning that the cows were good looking. Okay, that's just a
Or that the Torah thinks that good looking means that you look like a nice steak dinner or something.
Right. That's
Well, there's an
a handsome
argument
cow.
against being a vegetarian, right?
Okay, Alan, ready? Alan, 121, as we have already explained.
Where's Alan? Where's Alan?
He's unmuting.
As we have already explained, Abraham originates in the supernal face of Arachanpin, which shines forth 370 lights. Therefore, when these 5 states of Chesed spread through the Yesod of Zeranpin, they make Yosef of good form and good appearance, due to the beauty of the supernal face of Arachanpin, the source of the 5 states of Chesed. Yaakov personified Zeranpin. His son Yosef personified Yesod of Zeranpin. In this context, Abraham, Yaakov's grandfather, personifies Arachanpin, the source of Abba and Ima, the parents of Zeranpin.
Okay, thanks. Okay, next, 5. In a play on words, the Torah connects a beard with the dignity and presence of an old man. Presence, I don't mean he's being there, I mean with his presence. The dignity, the nobility, presence of an old man. And this is reflected in the beard. And for example, a eunuch who is deficient in the area of Yesod, we said Yesod corresponds to the bris milah, does not have a beard. And so that is the next, this is the next thing. Jim, are you ready?
Yeah. As you know, the beauty of the face is the beard, and therefore eunuch has no beauty of the face, that is, no beard. The phrase, you shall stand up in the presence of gray hair and you shall honor the face of an old person, may be read, you shall stand up in the presence of gray hair, and the beauty of the face is the beard. This implies that the beauty of the face of an old man is his beard. We've identified the beauty of the face as the 370 lights, which is the source of the 5 states of Chesed. These are expressed as beauty the beauty expressed in Yesod of Zeranpin, the grandchild of Arachanpin. I think that's great-grandchild, as we saw with Joseph. A eunuch whose Yesod has been castrated is thus deprived of the expression of the potential beauty of his face, his inner Arachanpin, in his grandchild, his Yesod, his procreative organ, and therefore this beauty is not expressed as a beard. Okay. We did a lot of work on the beard one day years ago. I remember the lights coming off of something you brought in. It's a whole different class, but the beard was never the same after we had that class for me, as it had the power of those lights.
I don't remember which. I remember what we learned.
We learned about the beard holding the light.
Fiber optics, the lamp with the fiber optics.
Yes.
Lamp. Yes.
Yeah, and that's to do with the narrow, the constriction of the neck that connects the head and the torso.
Right.
And the muzzle.
The what?
Muzzle.
Muzzle.
The muzzle.
We're talking about the muzzle.
Yes.
Yes.
The muzzle is going to be in a few parshas.
Yep.
If I remember.
Mm-hmm.
The name Havashem Kel is associated with Chesed. If you guys remember, we had a few months ago, Avraham was 248, and Avraham's 248, which is 8 times Hashem's name Kel. Aleph Lamed is 31. 31 times 8 is 248. And we explained then why there are 8. Here we go into detail of why there are 8 Kel. The name of Hashem, Aleph Lamed Kel, is associated with Chesed. It says in the Tillim, Chesed Kel Kol Hayom. The benevolence of Kel is all day, throughout the day. So Chesed goes with Kel is a name associated with Chesed. There are 8 names Kel associated with Arachanpin. Okay, again, Arachanpin, the lower level of Keser. And Kel equals 31. 31 times 8 is 248, the gematria of Avraham. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So, as you, okay, now in this face of Eric Ampen is expressed 8 names of Kale, whose numerical value is the same as that of Abraham, who personifies this level. Kale, Aleph Lamed, is 1 plus 30 plus 30 is 31, 8 plus times 31 is 248. So Abraham is Aleph Beit Resh He Mem, 1 plus 2 plus 200 plus 5 plus 40 plus 248. The name Kale is associated with Chesed. Thus the face of Arach Anpin, the source of the 5 states of Chesed, embodies this name.
All right. So that we've had. Now we're going to connect it. And when we talk about the beard is connected with the Yud Gimel Midos Harachamim, the 13 attributes of mercy that at the time of the golden calf, Moshe was on the mountain. I'm sorry, at the time that Moshe got the Torah, was taught to him, I think, by the Satan, that Hashem focuses a special ear onto the 13 attributes of mercy. Hashem, Kel Rachum V'Chanun Erech Apayim V'Chesed V'Emes. If I'm not mistaken, there are different ways how these are counted. The way that we're going to follow here is that that Hashem is a preamble. It's an introduction. And Kel is the first of the 13. I guess Rachum is the second, V'Chanun is the third, and so on. The 13 attributes of mercy are written in the Torah, and we recite them in Tachanun and Slichot.
Mm-hmm.
The first is Kel. The 13 attributes of mercy are known in Kabbalah as the 13 rows of the beard, so that the beard corresponds or manifests compassion, manifests the idea of Rachamim. And so the first one that we mentioned there is Kel. One moment. Okay, Hashem's name, Kel, actually has 3 components that repair Das, Chesed, and Gvura. Very often in Torah, Kel is attached to another name of Hashem. We have Kel Shakai.
Mm-hmm.
We've had in Bereshis several times, not just once. We've had a number of times. Kel Shakai. Hold on. This week's parsha, Va'era. It says Hashem says to Moshe right at the beginning, the second pasuk, Va'era el Abraham el Yitzchak el Yaakov. I appeared to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Bekel Shakai, through Kel Shakai. I appeared to them through this name, or through these names. Ushmi Hashem lo nodati lohem. But my name, Havaya, I was not made known to them. So here, right in the beginning, we have Kel Shakai, and it's also mentioned in Bereshis at least a few times offhand that I can think of. The second one, Kel Havaya, is in the Siddur. Yes, is in the Tehillim at the end of Hallel. In the chapter 118 of Tehillim, or if you open up to Hallel, at the end of Hallel, it's right before Keli Atava Odeka, Elokai Omeka, Hod Lashem Kitov Kil Hasa. It's right after in the Hallel we say Ana Hashem Moshiachna, Ana Hashem Aslichana.
Mm-hmm.
So we say Kel Havaya, we have it over there, and probably other times. Thirdly, yeah, I mean, there's probably other times. The third one is Kel Adni, with the name of Hashem Al Tal Nun Yud. I don't think this is written anywhere in Tanakh, and I'm not just saying that off the top of my head. I read it. So I'm almost sure that I read this several months ago. And the third is not written anywhere except as a concept in Kabbalah. If you do find it, you come across, please come and let me know. Okay? So, Jim, go ahead. 122, these 8 names.
These 8 names constitute the first of the 13 rectifications of the beard, which is the name Kel. The 13 rectifications, or parts of the beard, correspond to the 13 attributes of mercy, as we explained previously. The first of the 13 attributes of mercy is simply the name Kel, signifying God's loving kindness.
Continue.
As you know, it possesses 3 worlds, each of which is called Kel. The vessels of Tohu collapsed, beginning with the Sephira of Das. The first of the 13 attributes of mercy rectifies the fallen Sephirot of Das, Chesed, and Gevurah. These 3 manifestations of the name Kel are the name Kel as it combines with the 3 other names. So Kel Shakai, Kel Chavaya, and Kel Adni. In this connection, the reader should review the translation of the Arizal's comments on Parsha Lech Lecha.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't do that. I don't even remember that we had it there. But we'll continue. Okay, thanks. Number 9. There are a total of 8 names Kel. I remember learning at Lech Lecha, like, why 8? Where does it come from? So we've learned that there are 3 columns on the Sephirotic tree.
Mm-hmm.
There's right, left, and middle, right? Chesed on the right, Gvurah on the left, Tiferes in the middle. Keser is in the middle. The 8 names Kel are divided among the columns. And I'm fairly certain that these are the same columns as the Sephirotic tree.
Okay, so I'm missing, there we go.
3 on the right, 3 on the left, and 2 in the middle.
2 in the middle, okay.
Now, this is all taking place in Arachanpin, in the lower part of Keser. So there are 3 names of Kel. 8 names, 3 on the right, 3 on the left, 2 in the middle. Of the 2 in the middle, 1 faces right, the other faces left. As we said, 8, and this is this is why we have 8 times Kel. It equals 31. 8 times 8 is 248, the gematria of Avraham. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Which we had above in the first part here on the top of the page. As you know,
Thus.
Okay. Thus, we have 3 names Kel to the right and 3 to the left. We have two names Kel are in the face itself to the right and to the left. We thus have 8 name scale whose combined numerical value is that of Avraham.
All right, thank you. So the 2 name scale in the middle are derived from 2 Havaya. Remember, when I say Havaya, I'm talking about Hashem's name, Yud K Vav K. That are on the face of our champin, one on the right and one on the left. Okay, you didn't know that there are 2 Havaya on the face of our champin? Me neither, but now we know it. So the 2 name scale in the middle are derived from the 2 Havayas on the face of our champin, one on the right and one on the left. These 2 Havayas are the, I should write Havaya. These 2 Havaya are the beginning of the 13 attributes of mercy. We say Hashem, Hashem, Kel Rachum V'Chanun. So that's what we're saying is Hashem, Hashem, the 2 Havaya that are on the face of Arachanpin, Kel, they get manifest through Hashem's name, or expressed, transformed through Hashem's name, Kel Aleph Lamed. Okay, Gershon, please continue 122 at the bottom, however.
Good. However, these 2 names, Kel, situated on the face, are derived from the 2 names Havaya, situated on the face, one to the right, one to the left. They are spelled out with the letter Yud. This is significant. This is the significance of the 2 names Havaya that precede the 13 rectifications of the beard, as it is written, Hashem, Hashem is a merciful and gracious God. In the verse listing the 13 attributes of mercy, Hashem precedes his proclamation of these attributes by saying his name Havaya twice.
Mhm.
And Hashem passed before him and said, Havaya, Havaya is a God, Kel, who is merciful and gracious.
Okay, one moment.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's with me so far. Any questions? Okay, there's a lot here, but it takes us through step by step. So now, imagine if someone tries to explain a car engine and all the different little parts, or a motherboard. It gets detail, another detail, another detail. Okay, so next, the 2 names Havaya both have a front and a back. Whenever we say back, it means something that is not direct. And very often we'll find the gematria will be done in an indirect way. I should mention that everyone knows about gematria and is familiar with gematria. Aleph is 1, Beis is 2, Gimel is 3, Yud is 10, and Taf is 400. However, who said that's arbitrary? There are actually many forms of gematria. Over here we find, I think in the book we found a few, but I do have a book on the letters, and I never finished the book. But yeah, he points out that there are many different types of gematria. You can have gematria going backwards, where Aleph is 400, Beis is 300, Gimel is 200, and so on, where the last letter, Taf, is 1. You can have gematria, which is not uncommon, where we just take the single digit. So Yud, instead of being 10, will be 1, Kaf will be 2, and so on. Taf, the last letter, Taf, will be 4 instead of 400. We can have, there's also where we divide them into, I think, into 3, they're 22 letters. We divide them into 3, we get 3 rows of 7, and I don't remember what happens to the last letter. And there are many different ways to do gematria and many different combinations. So, when we talk about the back, like the back of Havaya that we are here, generally it will be it may very well be an indirect gematria, not straightforward. So one of the things that we find very often here, and I'm not sure why, but we've come across a lot, is something called that they call regressive iteration. Regressive, of course, is the opposite of progressive. And regressive iteration in Hebrew, they have a few different names called acharayim. It's called ribua. Ribua usually means square. I'm not sure why it gets that name. The regressive iteration is where you do all the letters. I'm sorry, I think all the letters, then you drop, then plus the letters not counting the last one, then the letters not counting the last two, and so on. And finally, it's just the first letter. In a sense, that's regressive. Here, I wrote it down backwards. I'm going to switch it after the class. So that first is A plus B plus C plus D, plus A plus B plus C, plus A plus B plus A. Another way to show this is 4 times A plus 3 B's plus 2 C's plus 1 D. Okay, keep this in mind. We're going to come across it quite a bit. It is called regressive iteration. Iteration, in not a word you come across a lot, defined by Ned Herman as he speaks about the brain. He speaks about ideas that bounce back and forth between the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. And going back and forth, that would be by your more analytical side and your more creative side. And he calls that iteration. Okay, so the two names of Havaya have both a front and a back. The back is expressed in regressive iteration because it's not direct. For Havaya, this means 4 yuds, 3 heys, 2 vavs, and 1 hey. 1 minute. And we can now see the connection between Havaya and Kel through gematria, because we said that the Kel, the Havaya manifests itself or expresses itself through the name Kel. The 2 Havayas on the face of Arachanpin manifest through the 2 Kels, I think, that are in the center. We said there are 8, 3 on the right, 3 on the left, and 2 in the middle. So I think the 2 Havayas express themselves through the 2 Kels, or the 2 Kels are a derivative or an outgrowth of the Havaya. The gematria, the expanded spelling of Havaya is 72. So Yud is 20, Hey is 15, Vav is 22, Hey is 15. The total of Havaya of 72 in regressive iteration is 184. This is the same as the expanded spelling of Kel. And I expanded it here. Aleph, Lamed Pei, Lamed Mem Dalid, 1 plus 30 plus 8 plus 30 plus 40 plus 4, 184. Wouldn't you have known this? With the kolal, it is, of course, 185. What this does is it shows an intrinsic or it shows that there is a connection between Havaya and Kel. It's an expression of the connection of Havaya and Kel, that they also match up through gematria, not straight gematria. Need to do a little twisting, a little turning, arm bending, and so on, but they both equal 184. Okay, Gershon.
185, as you, by looking at it, that's also twice 185 is 370.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Well,
Yeah.
I did the math. Well, I'm a math person.
There are your lights.
I didn't look ahead. I just know that 185 twice that is 370.
Yep.
How many Kels are there? How many Havayas?
A lot.
There's 2. There's 2.
2.
It's 2 in the center.
Doing this, yeah.
That's where we're going. Okay, Gershon, continue.
But these 2 names, Havaya, each possess a front and a back. Each back is manifest as a regressive iteration, as we know. The withdrawal of divine beneficence channeled through one of Hashem's name is indicated by the regressive iteration of that name. In the case of the name Havaya, this is Yud, Yud Hey, Yud Hey Vav, Yud Hey Vav Hey.
Keep going.
The numerical value of the regressive iteration of the name Havaya spelled out with the letter Yud is 184. The regression of the name Havaya spelled out with the letter Yud is Yud, Bab, Dalet, Yud, Bab, Dalet, Hey, Yud, Yud, Bab, Dalet, Hey, Yud, Bab,
Okay.
Yud, yeah, blah, blah. Numerically, this translates to 4 times 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus
That's
3 times
4
10.
times 4 yuds.
Correct. Blah, blah, blah.
3
184.
A's, 2
Three
vavs,
hay,
and
two
1 hey.
vavs, one hay.
Beautiful.
I actually wrote it in my book.
Mhm. So, I don't know, I was thinking if you get 2 Abrahams, correct? 2 times 175 plus a Yud, and then you get 370. Anyhow.
We are
No,
not.
what?
We're as I mentioned, it's short on the Avraham, the 175.
All right. And the numerical value of the spelling out of the name Kel.
Okay.
Oh,
Hold on. Let me go to the next one. We
25
spoke
times
before
2.
of the 13. We spoke before of the 370 bright lights that shine from our Champin. This is manifest by 2 names Kel that shine from the backs of 2 names Havaya. Both Kel in expanded spelling and Havaya in expanded spelling of the regressive iteration of the name 72 equal 185
85.
with the Kolel. Since there are 2 Kel derived from 2 Havaya, 185 equals
185 times 2.
Yeah.
Or 2 times 185, right.
2. It gives us 370.
mhm.
Okay, go ahead, Gershon.
Where were we? And the numerical value of the spelling out of the name Kel is also 184 plus the Kolel, for example, 185. The spelling out of Kel, Aleph Lamed is Aleph Lamed Pei Lamed Mem Dalet, 1 plus 30 plus 80 plus 30 plus 40 plus 4, 185. We thus see how the backs of the 2 names Havaya are derived. These 2 some grammatical error there.
From. Should be from
We see how from the back.
From
the
are derived from these 2 names Kel.
No, the word from is
No.
already there earlier.
word from
No,
the
we
back.
thus see how
are the
from.
name, yeah.
We thus see how the backs of these 2 names Havaya
How
are
from.
derived
From
from these 2 names Kel.
I don't know, Alan. How from are you? There should be
From somewhere.
there
No,
should be
from
2
is there.
commas. There
From
should
is
be,
there. From is after how.
You
yeah,
keep
there should
skipping
be
it,
a
Gershon.
comma after the word how and another comma after Havaya.
All right.
Read the sentence
Like
again.
my boss's boss would say, got to be translated into English. All
No,
right.
it is. Read it. Read the
Spanish. It's not Spanish.
Yeah,
All right.
you're
We got it.
Put
Now.
in commas.
Now, the numerical value.
Well, hold on.
All
Listen.
right.
We
Yeah.
thus see how, comma,
From the
from the
backs
backs
of these 2 names Havaya are
comma.
derived these 2 names Kel. All right.
There you go. Okay, and
There
read
you
the
go.
next one.
Now, the numerical value of 2 times the spelling out of the name Kel will be 370. These are the 370 lights that shine from the supernal face of Arihampin. 2 times 185, 370.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Next, one more line.
Let us now return to our derivation of the 175 years of Abraham's life.
Okay, thank you. Which I
Back
don't
to
see.
you.
Which I don't
How
see
did
how we
and
do
how?
it. I don't see. So keep your eyes out for that.
All
Okay,
right.
we're gonna pause here. Any comments? Any questions? Any thoughts?
Not yet.
Plus, Gershon, you're wrong. You can't add 10 to twice.
Yeah,
Avram.
I mean
20,
that's the
20.
That's the problem.
You
I
get, you
mean,
get 360, not 370.
No, Yud is 20, isn't it?
No, Yud's 10.
Oh,
it's 10.
it said over there 20. No, I would know.
No, it didn't. It said 10.
So Yud's 10.
Well, get 2 U's.
It's Yud's.
My cousin Benny, 2 U's.
45.
Ay, ay, ay.
No.
Okay, can we go ahead?
You want me to read?
No.
No.
Okay, next
Okay.
13. I think. No, we just said
No,
13.
14.
14.
We're 14. No,
14.
Atbash again.
Here we go with that, Bash.
Atbash
No.
again.
We had it already?
Last,
we
well, we
had-
had it when we studied.
The first time we had Atbash. At the end, we had Atbash.
Yeah. In this class, you mean?
It is, yeah, we had it. Yeah, we had
You didn't
Atbash.
say last week, did you?
Oh, no.
Okay, so I made it simple. Chaim is very good. I thought maybe you had it last night in Rebbe Wolf's class.
No,
Okay.
no. We had it for in our class. We've had
Oh.
Atbash before.
Yes. Okay. Atbash is a system of switching letters by counting aleph bet from the end. And here's a chart of it. Okay, so it's the top row is aleph till taf.
Mhm.
And the second row, hold on. There you go. And the second row is aleph till taf, but left to right. Okay, so aleph, when we wrote notes in class, you didn't want your teacher to catch it, so you would do something like this: substitute, the M for the N, Z for an A, and so on. Okay, it's a fairly very simple, straightforward code. Nothing Navajo about it. And if you look down the columns, first column on the right down is aleph taf at. Second column down, Beis Shin Bash. So we call it Atbash. Hashem's name in Atbash is Matzpatz. That means that you substitute the mem instead of a yud, tzaddik instead of a hey, pei instead of the vav, tzaddik instead of the hey. That's mem tzadi pei tzadi. Remember, guys, since we're talking about the acharayim, we're talking about the back of Hashem's name. This is another form of indirect and acharayim, back. Before we gave one example, regressive iteration. This is just another example of backward, of indirect or acharayim, or from the back. So Hashem's name in Atbash is Mem Tzadi Pei Tzadi. We did, and we've had this a few times. Okay, one thing at a time. Avigail, you want to continue page 124 when these.
When these two names Havaya that are manifest on the supernal face of Arik Anpin are transformed using Atbash, they produce the letter combinations Mem, Tzadik, Pei, Tzadik twice. Atbash, as we have explained, is one of several letter substitution algorithms used in Kabbalah. In Atbash, the first letter of the alphabet, Aleph, is replaced by the last Tav. The second Beis is by the second to the last Shin, and so on. These first two pairs, Aleph, Tav, Beis, Shin, give this algorithm its name.
All right. So now we're going to show what we have from here. If we expand the spelling of each letter of Hashem's name in Atbash, that's Mem Tzadi Pei Tzadi. So the first two letters, Mem Tzadi, is Mem Mem, Tzadik Daled Yud. The proper name of the letter is Tzadi, not Tzadik. I remember I even looked it up once in the dictionary, and it just had Tzadi. Popularly, it's called Tzadik because we say Samachayim Pei Tzadik Kuf. Tzadik Kuf, so it became Tzadik. That is in the vernacular, and we do find at times that it is that we understand it to mean to read Tzadik, but the original technical name of the letter is Tzadi. And guess what? Mem Tzadi equals 184. We have 40 and 40, 90, 4 and 10 is 184. The second two letters are Pei Tzadi. Pei, Aleph, Tzadik, Daled, Yud. 80, 1, 90, 4, and 10, which equals 185. since the 13 attributes of mercy begin with Hashem Hashem, there are 2 names Havaya, or 4 names Kel, which means Mem Tzadi Pei Tzadi twice. Okay, that's how you get to 370.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get to 370 this way.
Yes.
I think, and okay. Okay, continue, please, Abigail. And yes, I'm watching the clock.
If we divide them into 4 pairs of letters and spell them out, we have Mem Mem Sadi Dalet Yud and Pei Aleph Sadi Dalet Yud. The letter Sadi is sometimes spelled out with a kuf at the end and sometimes without.
Keep going.
The numerical value of Mem Mem Sadi Dalet Yud is 184, which is also the numerical value of the spelling out of the name Kale plus the kolel, as we saw above. Mem Mem Sadi Dalet Yud is 40 plus 40 plus 90 plus 4 plus 10 equals 184. Similarly, the numerical value of Pei Aleph Sadi Dalet Yud is 185, which is again the numerical value of the spelling out of the name Kale. Pei Aleph Sadi Dalet Yud equals 80 plus 1 plus 90 plus 4 plus 10 equals 185. Thus, the transformation of the name Havaya via Adbash yields 2 names Kale. Any transformation of a name indicates a simsum or contraction of the divine life force channeled through that name. We do the same with the second name Havaya, giving 4 names Kale, which manifest as 2 sets of 370. 4 times 185 equals 2 times 2 times 185 equals 2 times 370.
Okay, one moment. So if I understand, we have 2 names Havaya, but since the Mem Tzaddik Pei Tzaddik is 300, and we have it twice, so we therefore we have 4 names of Kel. I think that's what it means. In other words, if we have 2 Havaya, where do we get 4 names Kel? I think we see that through the numbers. We are going to stop here. So, if anyone, anyone have comments, feedback? My thing is that it explains the 370 bright lights, Shin, Ayin, Nahorim, pretty clearly. Most probably, we're going to be reviewing a lot of some of these things, some of these comanches, but we're only partway through. There is more. So
Yeah, it's not just the back.
You go over it, Reed. Go ahead.
It's not just the back, it's the front. You've got 2 sets. You've
Okay.
got 2 sets of the 370.
Because of the front as well?
Because you've got to count the front and the back. We've been talking back, but there's also front. Because they're 2 sets.
Okay.
2 sets of 370. I mean, the face has a front and a back. It isn't just back.
Okay.
This is probably, I don't know, at the top of 123 when they're describing the regressive iteration of a name, it says in the small print, the withdrawal of the divine beneficence channeled through God's names is so I'm missing the significance of that, or is that just side information?
I think that there's a withdrawal and there's also a non-withdrawal. I think it's a different flow. I think the back is a withdrawing flow and the front the front is a positive, beneficent flow. And because energy, the divine energy goes both ways.
Right.
So that's how I don't know. But anyway, that's why I say there's two. And I think if we read on, we see there's two.
Okay.
Top of 125. There's a frontal, and it talks about
We haven't got yet.
I know we haven't gotten there, but there's a frontal and a back.
Do you think this has any connection to how God feeds Noga by throwing it over the back? Yeah.
Yes, it's along
Yeah.
those lines.
Yeah, I think any back relationship is that way. When we speak of it in this sense, back to back, face as opposed to face to face.
Back to back.
Back to back as opposed to face. So we talk about a back to back relationship in that Adam had with Lilith. That's back to back, as opposed to face, which is a positive relationship.
With Hava.
That say Abraham and Sarah have. I'm just throwing that out. That has to rectify the back to back.
That was exactly what I thought of, that before Adam and Hava were split. This comes from Rabbi Dov Ber Pinson. He said that they had a back-to-back kind of relationship.
They were. If we look at them, they were formed back to back. When you speak of, there's a description as almost a hermaphroditic relationship where the two of them were back to back, and they weren't connected, and then they came front to front, and then they were. They were one, and they clung to each other. They were naked and not ashamed, etc. So that, yes, it's there as well.
Interesting. This is a lot. Is this easy for you guys? No? Okay.
No.
It's a lot of work, but it's a great reward.
Yeah.
You have in this class. It's helped, certainly helped my life, and I know it's helped other folks' lives as we've talked about it.
Yeah, just it's definitely. I'm already thinking, no, I shouldn't do this because I'm going to be throwing something to the Klipos. So things like that.
Whatever the bottom line is, when we learned this, we got into it. I felt that we get a hawk eye view of the world, or an eagle eye view of the world and of the Torah and of the world, as opposed to a mole that's burrowing under the ground. And but it gives us much greater appreciation for the world, gives us a much greater appreciation for Torah. And the bottom line is that it should propel us and nudge us in a stronger bond of Torah and mitzvahs, Torah study and commitment to mitzvahs.
And character growth, and real character growth that this class has helped.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. I sent out the updated version of the notes.
Saw that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thanks for
Good night.
teaching.